old were you then? Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but how
Oh
old were
no,
you?
that was all the way up until I was 13 years old. Having to stay in the house, most of the time because of asthma. Man, I used to have to go get a shot every week, a great big shot in my arm every week. That's why I ain't scared of needles. Um, but the my first, I became I wrote throughout. I was editor of our little grade school newspaper and editor of the middle school journal, and then the high school a yearbook I was editor of. Then when we got to college, I became by my senior year, I was editor of the University of Pittsburgh Pitt News. We published 3 times a week and my senior year as editor in chief, we were chosen as the top collegiate journal in America. Which was quite an honor. I uh, thought about going into newspapers. I had worked as an intern for the local daily newspaper in Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh Post Gazette, as a cub reporter, 2 summers in a row, and figured that's what I was going to be doing. But my advisor on the Pitt News when I was in college was recruited by Channel 13, the local public television station, and they the black community was putting tremendous pressure on the station because they were starting a new news program. And the black community was organized in those days and wanted to make sure that there was black representation on the air for the anchor people and the reporters. And the station put out a call for a young black guy with journalism experience who would work cheap. Well, that was my resume.
Ha!
And
Ha!
before I knew it, because of the guy who was the advisor on the Pitt News and who was now working at the station, I was 21 years old and on the news every night, having had no television experience. I was really
Dang,
bad. I'm not being falsely modest when I say I was really bad. I could not get through a newscast without making a major mistake.
like what,
But
for
the
example?
Lord hung with me and allowed the station to have patience with me. And after about 6 months, it all clicked. They liked my voice. That's the reason they kept me on there. They liked my look on the air. The afro was out to here in those days, and I thought I was cute and I had this voice thing going on. So that was the beginnings of my career.